Hey, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So let's come back to our nav and remove this code before we forget. We don't need this either. All right, good. So inside the functions, you can put what number you want. Let's put at 20 here to limit it to 20 categories that are in the dropdown. And if you wanted to change to ascending order, you can just say order and then put ascending here like that. Okay, that should work, and swap it from ascending to descending order. So you see, I don't know yet is the first one, but now it's going to be the last one. Alrighty then. Okay, so with that in mind, this is working just fine. Now let's get back to our home page. Alrighty then. Okay, so what we want is when we go to click here, we want to bring out the information that is based on that category. Now the thing is, if we go to our table and let's grab courses here. Now category here is just an ID, right? Meanwhile, in the URL, it's going to be, let me see one that actually exists. This photography, IT and software. IT and software looks like it's popular here, so I'll just click on it. All right, so we have IT software, right? So this is the slug that we do not have in the courses table. So from using that slug, it's impossible to know what course right here has that particular category, because the categories, the things we are saving here, the IDs of the categories, all right? So the thing we need to do then is first read what ID this particular category that has this slug is, and then use that result to read from here. So we can do this in multiple ways. We can use joins, so we can join two tables and read them together. Joins can be a little bit confusing, so instead what we will do, since we don't really need the category row, maybe we do need it. Do we or do we not? We possibly need it because when we open the category page, we may want to see the way we have this here. Let's see on the name page, the category name here, this culture and CO culture. We may want that heading as well. So maybe we need that category thingy. But let me show you how queries should run here. So first of all, let's go to SQL. Now the thing we want to read are courses, right? Now the thing is, for me to read from the course, I need to know the category ID. So I'm just going to say where category ID is equal to. Now the problem is in the URL, we're not being given the category ID, we are given the slug. So we need to convert the slug to an ID. And the way we can do that is through a subquery. So instead of being equal to something, we can use the word in like that. Because with in, we can do things like this, where we say where category ID in, and then we give it an ID name like 4. And then we can put more than that. We put comma, 5. Now, since they're numbers, we don't need the quotes. We can just do this, that, and that. And this is a valid query. It's going to read all categories that have, all courses that have category ID, which is equal to that. Now, the beauty of this is MySQL can construct this for us if we put a query in here instead. So here we're going to say select all from. Now we're going to categories themselves, categories table. We want to get category which has this particular slug right there. So I'm just going to copy that slug, come back to Where are we? Right here. So I'm going to say selector from categories where, and say, so inside categories we have, let me show you the table while we write this so that you can easily understand what's going on. So in this table we have a slug that we've been given. In this case it's IT software. So we're going to say where slug is equal to IT software, but what we really want is the ID. We don't want all of this. So what I shall do is say where slug is equal to that particular slug in the URL. Now this won't work as a query because the result is multiple columns, so it won't know what column I'm trying to match this with. So I need to give it a very specific column, which is the ID column of the categories table. So we are essentially swapping the slug for the ID and then using that result in another query. So with this in mind, if I click go, you will see that some courses will come up that have category ID as 4. You see, all of them have 4 as the category ID, but the way we got to 4 is by running it through a subquery. The only problem is with this result, as you can see, we do not have the category name. We still have just the category ID, so we couldn't get the category name even if we wanted to, because it's not part of this result. So we can do this in a different way and join another table here, right? Let's do a join instead. So I'm just going to copy this and save it just so in case we need it. So this should go to the categories page, but we don't have that page yet. So I'm just going to put that here as temporary storage. Now let's come back to this part. So let's do a join instead, right? So how do joins work? We have two tables. We have the category table and we have the courses table. So let's select here. There we go. So what joins them together is the category ID in this case, because what this column that says category ID here has a corresponding ID here. So you see where category ID is equal to 4, it means if we go to this table and go to ID 4, we know it's IT and software. Where it's 10, if we go to the other table, we'll see that it's photography. So which means those two columns can be used to match. So what I want to do is just read both tables and bring back all the results. I'm just going to use an outer join. That's what it's called, just a normal join. I want to entirely join the two tables. So SQL, let's go down here and say select all from courses. Now before we do the where clause, let's just do join categories. So just like that, I have joined two tables and I will return results for all of them. And then here I'm just going to say, now when you say join, you have to tell it where you're joining it on. So you're saying join on. This is where we have to specify which columns match which. So here we know the ID must match the category ID on the other side. So we can start with either, doesn't matter. So I can just say on the courses table, I have to specify the table because it won't know, because I can just say something like join categories on ID is equal to category ID, like this. Now the problem is it won't know which ID am I talking about because there are two tables involved here. So I have to tell it that on the courses side, it has to be the category ID. So courses.category ID, and then on the categories table, it has to be the ID there. So once I do this, I've made a query that will return all columns. Let me just run this query so you can see what I'm talking about. And there we go. So it has brought, let's look at just this one row. So there's a row here going all the way to this side. But looky here, at the very end, we get another ID of the category that it belongs to. So here this belongs to IT and software. Good. So now they're like one table, one result, so that if I wanted the category name, I would have it as well, even its slug and so on. But really, we may just need the slug and the category so in this case, if the category did not exist, the whole row would never be brought back. So for example, let's say we had this row where category ID is equal to 4 and there was no category named ID 4, then this whole row would not exist in this result unless you use an outer what do you call that join? A join that intersects. It may bring back empty results here. But let's narrow the results down, because now we have two ID columns. We have an ID for the category, and if we come back here, we have an ID for the course. So let's limit this. We just need the category and the slug from the categories table. So let's just click edit in line. So here I'll say I need to specify what columns to bring. Now I can do that by simply saying I want you to bring categories like this, categories dot category, that's a column, comma, category dot slug, like this. Okay, cool. But these are from the categories table. I can specify just these. Let's do this, and so you can see that. Let me run this. Where am I supposed to run this? Go right there. So now you see what we got. We just got these guys here. Doesn't make much sense because we are really looking for columns in the courses table. So in order to show all columns from the courses table, just put courses dot star and then comma, like that. So from the courses table to get everything, but here to just get two of these. So let's hit go, and there we go. So we have all these here, but then we have category and slug. But the problem is we do have slug as well, I guess, from the course, do we? Apparently not, which is very unusual. I think I forgot that. So in case we had similar tables here, we can rename them using aliases. So look at this right here. I'll click edit, and I'll say courses. Here I'll say categories.slug. I'll just say as and then put an alias. So maybe this one would be called cat slug instead, to know that it's a slug from the categories side, and then click go. And this will work. Let's go down here. You see now it's written cat slug so that I can easily grab it. Okay, so those are things you can do. Also, you can change the names of the tables to make them shorter. Look at this. Here we are saying grab, this is the select part, from courses. Let me remove these. Now courses is quite long, just like categories. I'll just say courses and just do as C. Now the problem is courses start with C and categories start with C. So maybe here I can also do as cat. Okay. So categories has been renamed to cat and courses has been renamed to C. This way I can just remove all this and just say C.star. Category, I abbreviated it to cat, and then do that. So this makes your query a bit shorter. Even here, courses.this, it should just be C.that. This one will be cat.id. Right. So that reduces the query, and if I hit go, it will return results as predicted. Let's come here. So the category slug will be cat slug. We will leave it like that because we may put a slug for the courses as well. So at least like this now, it gives me the category name and gives me the results that I want. So this is our query right here. So let me just click edit, go in here and grab that. Now we can put a where clause. We haven't put a where clause here because it's just returning everything. Now what we want is to grab from a particular slug in the categories table. So here, what I will do is, the slug is IT software. Let me just copy that real quick, come back here. So it is doing the join, but we can put a where clause and say where. Now, if we're referring to the categories table, we'll say where cat, right? Dot slug is equal to, and then let's put that there. Wait a minute. Okay, very cool. We can put a limit that we want and an offset after this, no problem. But this is fine for me. Let's try that and hit go. Okay, so we get the results that have category ID is equal to 4, just like before, but now at least we have extra columns which have the category name itself and its slug. Okay, so this gives us the perfect query. So let me grab this, copy that. So it's a good way to experiment on queries right here before you add them to your PHP. So this query is history. What we want, let's go here and create one of these. Now I've copied something, so I'll just paste here for safekeeping. And I want to go to my home controller, model slider. Why am I, oh yeah, okay, I see. So I'll copy everything from here, do new file, paste. This is in the namespace controller, so that's good. We won't be needing our slider, so out. We will change this to category. This is the category page. Okay, so let me do that. We type category dot PHP, capitalize that C, and save. Okay, so category class right there, that's good. So this is why namespaces are important in our case, because now we have two classes named category, just like this one as well. So at least now it knows this one is the model version, this one is not. Okay, so with this in mind, things should work as intended. I'll do category here and read all categories. We will not need to do that. We just need to run our query here. So the rows that we get here will be very specific. Now, so instead of using the where clause here, we're going to use the query function so that we can run an actual query. So I'm just going to grab everything here, cut there, save, come back to here and put some, let me just remove those. Oopsie daisy. Let me put that back like so. Okay, now we can put a very hard-coded value here, so we just have to put slug like this, but it doesn't look like we're getting any luck here. Looks like there's something missing. Oh, okay, so there's an open bracket. What's going on here? Looks really strange. Huh, still looks fine, I guess. Okay. Read all courses, trending. We don't need any of this at all. No. Wait a minute. Okay, trending is on this side. It's not there on... we can either add it or not. Okay, so a few syntax errors there. That's because we haven't completed what we are doing here. So what are we doing here? Let me leave these as they are. Slider images, there's no need for us to load this. So let's remove all of this. Instead of home here, let's do category. as the view that we want to get, and that should do it. But let's go to the views and try to show that. I'm just going to copy the home view, copy everything from the home view, right click on views, new, paste, save. Let's save this one as category.view.php. okay, good. And then let's go up here and let's remove this part that is the slider. So out. There we go. The rest, let's leave as it is. Let me refresh. Okay, so it's saying you have an error in your MySQL. Check. So select C at, so our query has a problem. But why? So let's get back to our controller and let's see what's going on here. I do not understand why. This is supposed to be a string, right? Oh, maybe the error is because I added slug here but didn't put an array. So what I would do is, let me just cut this from here. Let's just give it to a query string like this, okay? And then put query string over here. Oopsie daisy. Okay, that way we have space to add a slug. So let's add a slug and point it to slug. So now we need to grab the slug from somewhere. So we're going to grab it from here like that. Whatever comes there is slug. Let's give it a default value in case it doesn't exist, like this. So let's try again. And there we go. Look at that. Very cool. Yes. So everything is showing here because the other stuff is not. It's supposed to show at the top. Or by copying the home page, we copied this extra stuff that isn't useful. But that's okay. We can delete it. Let's just see what's going on here. I'm just going to go back to category controller. I just want to know if we got any result from here. So here I'll just do show that and let's hit die just to see if we got a result. And it looks like we didn't. So the query does not give us a result. So why is that? So the next thing to check is, what does the slug contain? So back here, paste, and let's go. Let's do that. Let's refresh. Okay, so the slug correctly contains business. So why then do I have nothing? So slug. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, yeah, no. Everything should work here because slug is a slug over there. I don't get it. Where cut slug is equal to slug. This should work. But why isn't it? Query. Okay. This is food for thought here. Okay, let me mess with the query a little bit here. Let me just say select, or let me reduce the variables that I've added here. Let me just put a star like this. Okay. Let's see if that gets us some results. Nope, it does not. Okay, great. So that's not the problem. Let's remove the where clause then. Let's see what that does, because this is supposed to just bring us everything. Okay, so it's complaining because I've added params here which are not non-existent on the other side. So let me remove that. Still nothing. Very interesting. Let me just bring it down to selector from courses, just like that. Wow, nothing. Okay, so right now I know there's definitely a problem here. What is going on? Select all from courses. This should bring results, right? Oh, wait a minute. Sorry, my bad. I'm not checking to see if it's actually bringing results. Look at that. Oh my god. Okay, so let's redo this again one more time quickly. I just want to remove the where clause and see if that's the problem. Okay, so the where clause is indeed the problem. Okay. Let's put slug there. Oh, so there's really no problem here at all. The issue is that there is no item that is in that category. So this is my fault. I've completely forgot that most of these don't have anything. So this one has something, the IT software. So this should work just fine. So I'm going to remove this like that. Now let's come back here, refresh. Okay, so this is what we have as a result. So these are all IT, which is cool. But I guess because we are using the query thingy, the course, where is that? Course category model. Oh no. What? The course model, where is this? Course. Because it has to run these things after the select. So it's not getting any of these because we are not using the model really. We are using the database class with a query function. So we need to fix that problem so that even when we use the query function, we still run these after select functions, because otherwise we have information like unknown, which is not good even there. All right, so let's do that in the next video.